Guys, I thought I knew my English. I thought having written IELTS twice before, both general and academic, would make me very good at my English, but I got the shock of my life. Reality check in this video as I do review the first practice test that I've taken, a full test, and honestly I got the shock of my life because I thought, well, I now live abroad. I now live in England. I use English every day. I work with English colleagues and I speak it every day, all the time. The kids use it mostly. They use English. Of course, we do speak Shona here and there, but I think for the past 3 years I've been using English, and I thought, well, this was going to be a walk in the park, but this test will humble you. If you're preparing for your IELTS, then you definitely need to listen to this video as I share a reality check of what I got. Living abroad or living in an English-speaking country does not automatically make you so good when it comes to taking English exams. That's what I got. At least this is the reality at the moment. And a big welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Florence, for those of you that do not know me, and we are on a roll with our IELTS preparation series. And one of the reasons why I decided I want to document this journey is because, firstly, I'm having to write IELTS whilst living abroad. For most people, they'll be thinking, well, you relocated already. Why should you put yourself through the trouble of really doing English? And isn't it you've made it in life? But it's not as simple as it does look. So all the more reasons why I decided I was going to share with you the whole journey. Secondly, it's because I've had to do this IELTS preparation and writing and everything within 2.5 weeks. Not entirely voluntarily, but because I work full-time. I'm a mom and I don't have the luxury of time, to be honest, which is the difference between when I did it last time. Fine, I was working, I was a mom still, but I had so much help. I had house help, I had family looking after my kids and taking care of business around the house most of the time. So a luxury of time when I was preparing, but this time around, what needs to be done has to be done, and shortening the time in preparation and writing the actual exam would free up the rest of my year for other things, for other commitments as well. And also the other difference this time around is between juggling work and family. Not just one job, but 2 jobs. I also do these videos on YouTube, and they do take so much of my time because I do everything on my own. I don't have an editor. I don't have this and that. I'm still learning. I'm still finding my feet. So it does take long for me, but still a girl has to do what they have to do. So let's get right into it as we do a reality check or review of my first overhaul practice. What flaws, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hopeful, I'm going to share with you. So let's get right into it. I am one of those people who believe in book for something and then prepare. And especially when it comes to exams, I always say book the exam and then prepare later. Why? That way it will put you into focus mode. It will reorient your energies, your focus into what you're doing at that particular time, because each and every day is a ticking is passing time, taking time. So it forces you to get into a routine. It forces you to focus. And I've shared this with so many of my friends, colleagues, and people that do follow me and do ask me or tell me, oh, I've been preparing for months and months and now I want to book. I'll just say book the test and then the preparation will start. A lot of people do abandon relocation journeys midway because they don't have the commitment. They haven't committed. But when you pay your money, and mind you, this is not cheap money. This is hard and cash that you pay, so it is quite a lot. And wow, the sun is just glorious today. It's summering, so I'm excited. So all the more reasons I always say pay, meet, book that test, and then you can prepare. That way you'll focus, and I did it and it's shocking. So the first one that I started with was listening. I thought, well, because I do speak and listen to English speaking people every day, I can ace this. But it's not just about listening every day, because there is attention to detail. There's certain things and components that are required when you do your listening exam. So what happens with listening is you're listening to your recording and there's no means or way of repeating that audio. Once something has been said, it has been said. So you have to pay attention. You have to be attentive to focusing is very key. No wonder why I think with practice you get better at your listening skills, because you get into that mode to say, well, this is an exam. I have to listen out for important details like numbers, names of people, names of building, places, and certain key words that you would think, okay, I think an answer is around this. And the good thing, what I've learned and mastered when it comes to listening, is scan through the questions as quickly as possible, so that you're quite expectant to say, well, I'm looking for a person's name in this answer. I'm looking for a number, be it a contact number. I'm looking for a key, maybe an activity or a key feature on a building. So for listening, what I've learned and what I've mastered now going forward is you need to focus, you need to scan through the answers quickly. And if you miss an answer during listening, if you miss something, don't keep your mind fixated on it. Just move on and concentrate, because if you start thinking about that one, you tend to miss the rest of the conversation, and you may see yourself missing out on 3, 4, 5 questions in that section. I'd always thought, well, with reading, I've got the luxury of comprehension. It's comprehension. I've done GCSEs before, so there's a mental gym. Why? Because you're having to scan through all the questions, and for academic it's very tough. It's a mental gym. That's what I can tell you. So you're having to scan through the questions, go back to paragraphs, match headings, scan through for answers, and the clock does not wait for anybody. So what I can say now, after my first practice test, which didn't go so well, I've gone on to do other practice tests and I'm getting better. What has worked for me is tips and consistent practice tips. I cannot overemphasize the fact that it's very important that you focus on the tips. Once you master the tips, as soon as you get to a section, you know what you're looking at, get better at it. I am at that point where I've learned I don't have to read through everything. I have to be scanning for key things, highlighting, and then that will aid in time management when it comes to answering questions. And I know they say spend 20 minutes in each section for academic, but where you can, just know for the first section or first paragraph, it's easier. It gets tougher as you go to the second and the third. So if you can answer quickly section 1, do it in less, maybe 15 to 18 minutes, the better, because you will need that time when you go to part 2 and part 3. So all the more reasons why with practice, I think and I believe you can get better. But I got the shock of my life. I did. Let's talk about speaking, because I know a lot of people think because I do these videos, I am actually way better when it comes to speaking. But I realized that the number of times that I use and then pause and drift and just lose my words and have to think is quite a bit. So I've really been trying to practice. And it's unfortunate, when I did it the first and second time around, I had the luxury of company. I had other women. A big shout out to them, because they pushed me. They sort of were my benchmark, my yardstick, and would push each other. But this time around, I'm doing this on my own. I don't have the luxury of time of sitting with others and practicing. I had thought, well, I'll practice with my kids, but then summer is summering and they've gone away, which is a good and bad thing at the same time. But I don't want to make this their baby. It's my decision. It's my baby. I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. So what I've been doing is I do speak and record in my phone and then listen to that conversation over and over again. I'm having to learn other words to diversify my grammar, diversify my knowledge of the language, really, and learning to speak more on the subject. I always take by, if I'm asked a question, make sure you answer it in 4 to 5 sentences, which means you're speaking to between 3 to 5 minutes on the subject. That way you're not over the board, neither are you under speaking. At least it's working for me. But again, I would still say practice. And thank goodness for my YouTube channel, because it's been my practicing space. When I was doing it, I never thought I would need to speak in an exam. But then now it's coming in handy, though there are other areas that I need to polish. And what I can say, if you're listening to this conversation, if you're on this platform and you're watching this video, practice. You can actually find practice partners online. You can practice on your own. You can just practice with someone just asking you questions and you answering. I did it before. I do remember when I was still back home and I would practice my speaking. Sometimes I'll be driving in a car and then I'll just give a work colleague who I'll be driving with to say, ask me these questions and I'll answer them. It's a very good way of practicing. And Don't underestimate those 5 minutes that you're being asked. 10-15 minutes, it's good practice. It will get you the band score that you do require. Writing was another wake-up call for me. Honestly, you're thinking, well, I speak English, I can listen and understand it, but then putting ideas and thoughts onto paper and organizing them in a logical way, in a way that is expected, because there's a marking scheme, there's expectations and things like that. So it was quite a wake-up call. But what I've realized is when you listen to the tips, I've shared a video, I'll put the link in the description as well. Check out that video where I've shared the resources that I'm actually using for my practice. I've gone back to Fast Track IELTS. She's so good when it comes to tips, and part and parcel of the tips that she shared was when it comes to especially part 1, it's when you master the how to arrange, how to paraphrase, how to interchange words, how to put linking words to show your diversity when it comes to grammar, you hit the nail on the head. So I do believe it's not as hard, and I will keep sharing my practices with you, my essays with you, everything that I'm doing. Definitely I'll be sharing on this platform so that you track my progress. But the days are moving so fast and it doesn't get any easier, so practice is what I can say. And also tips do help, because bring you to focus on certain elements. They bring you, instead of you just being everywhere and scattering your mind everywhere and grappling with ideas and thoughts, tips sort of guides you into how you're supposed to arrange your thoughts, how you're supposed to structure your essays. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I can remember offhand is the fact that when you are in your writing, definitely part 1, you start with your introduction, where you're just paraphrasing the question or the task itself. And then you go on to your overview, which is like a general overall idea of what you're going to talk about in your essay. Then subparagraph 1, body paragraph 2, as some would want to call it, and then that's your essay done, and you would have actually scored everything that they are looking for. You would have ticked all the boxes when it comes to the expectations in terms of answering. And also part and parcel of the things that you have to bear in mind is your word count. Of course, they do say 150, but it's always ideal if you're writing academic to go at least between 170 and 200 words. Then that way you would have discussed the task, you'd have exhausted everything that the task requires of you. So of course, the main reason why I'm sharing these videos with you is to share and draw lessons from everything, the whole journey itself. So there are things that I've learned from this initial full practice test. Is the fact that knowing the format of the test is very key. Time management and staying calm under pressure, because there are times when you're faced with questions and you've had nothing, or you can't seem to find answers in your reading, or you can't seem to come up with the ideas that you need for your writing. Being calm under pressure is quite key. So having learned that, I've actually come up with a plan. I'm having to practice my reading and writing, my reading and listening. It's a daily thing. I don't go a day without. Same thing with speaking and writing. Sometimes I'll be pressed for time. Like yesterday I was working, so I couldn't do much. But when I get a chance, it's either I do a full writing test or I just do it in parts. And also part and parcel of what I do is each and every morning or before I go to bed, I listen to the tips. I go back to the tips. I go and review my answers and see where I've struggled. If it's reading and I've been struggling with headings, and then yes, no, not given, I do go and listen to the tips so that when I do the next exercise, I would try and employ all those tips. And so far, I think we are getting somewhere, and I'll come and share closer to the day of writing. I'll come and share with you where we are at with all the progress, with all the marks, because we're in this together. So if you are wanting to write your IELTS, or if you're planning on writing in the near future, based on what I do recommend is that you take that first practice test. It will give you a sort of an overview of where you are at. It will show you all the blind spots and where you will struggle with. You'd rather know initially than for you to relax and thinking, well, I know what I'm doing, I've got everything under wraps, and then you get the shock of your life before you do it. So that's all I had for you in this video, and do join me on this journey as a working mom living abroad and having to redo the relocation journey once more, reorient from plan B and starting to implement plan B whilst we're living abroad. As a working mom, full-time working mom, busy mom, and still having to chase those goals. It's an exciting journey. I'm excited already. It's a challenge that scares me. When I think of it, I just go, am I ready for it? Do I have the stamina for it? But we'll see. And join me as we target that band score together and walk into the exciting future together on this channel together, you and me. So all the more reasons why you need to hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button so that you don't miss any of our videos as we track our progress. We try to bring videos each and every day whenever we can. So I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now and all the very best.